Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to another video. So today, a little over $200 profit, and I'll show where that came into play. So on the open, we saw weakness, but a little bit of context on the SPY. We had swept liquidity at that pre-market high early and saw a good reaction down. Q's had that same solid reaction down as well. And after this, SPY had a strong bounce up, but we came back to those pre-market highs, swept the highs again, swept pre-market highs again, swept the day's highs. And at the same time we did that, QQQ was a little bit relatively weak. We had created this downside FVG, we respected it, got a nice reaction from sellers. I entered on the close of this 5 minute right here, stop above these highs, a little bit above. Excuse me. Played this on the move down. So trimmed one, probably around here-ish or so. This contract exploded, so right around here-ish. And then I trimmed at the low of day, right around this drawn liquidity as well. Sat through a little bit of chop, left my stop break even, sat through this chop, and then trimmed my final runner around this 521, right around here. And the reason for that was this was where our overnight gap was on the SPY. You can see that this low of day point, that low of day point on the Q's line, 521 below that low, was right around where that SPY gap was. So that was my final price target. That's where I took it off completely. See, we did hit this draw on liquidity on SPY, and that was our bounce point. So could have held till there, but just wanted to hold to the gap. Sat there about 15 minutes to chop, so just capitalize on my price target. But important thing to break down for me. So last week was a little bit tougher for me, you know, just forcing moves, not really seeing my edge and getting frustrated. And for me, I took this weekend to really dissect what I was doing and where I was going wrong and why I was doing those things, and just understanding, okay, this is, you know, impatience was a big thing of maybe just, it was a CPI week, which I typically don't like to trade anyway, but setups typically aren't as good for me on those type of weeks, and being patient and not taking setups is completely fine. But again, I let that kind of get to me a little bit, got a little impatient, start forcing moves, and then, you know, one thing led to another, I'm taking bad trades. So understanding things like that, for me, it wasn't really a technical side, it was more of the mental side. So for me, instead of just straight looking at charts over the weekend, which I did, I focused on the mental side as well. So I think identifying what is going on in your trading, if it's not going well, understanding why it's not going well, and creating solutions to attack those is very important. You know, not just continuing to do the same thing and just forcing trades, forcing bad trades, and doing the wrong things continually is going to keep getting the same result. But if you break it down, understand why am I doing these things? Why am I being impatient? Am I forcing trades because I'm getting impatient? Is this triggering me to do this or that? You got to find out what it is for you. For me, it took the weekend to do that, and, you know, end up coming into today with a great trade, not just for the result. You know, the money's great, but for me, I managed this really well. You know, I entered where I wanted to. So risk was where I wanted to. Held through a lot of chop and didn't panic out any of that. Didn't take profits early. Held to all my price targets. Everything was still valid, and I let it work out. Made a good profit off of it, and that's what's more important to me. Just kind of digressing a little bit, taking a step back, and just not being so obsessed with needing to trade every day. And then when I did that, a trade came to me. So I think it's just an important little spiel I want to put in here. Trade for the day, caught this lower high, SPY sweeping liquidity, QQQ relative weakness, played it down into this low down here. Great move, great trade, another drop in the bucket, and yeah, that's it for today. So appreciate you guys all for coming. See you in the next one. Peace.